At the end of 1989, a pop song appeared on the scene that reached number one in 21 countries around the world and sold 11 million copies. And it cleaned up just about every award to be given. And for about 12 months, it was practically impossible to avoid hearing that iconic voice of Cher asking us, "Do you believe?" It's one of those songs that once you hear it, it's hard to get out of your head. But it has an interesting theme, a simple theme. Whatever happens, you've got to believe in something else. Well, as we celebrate Pentecost, that's the question, isn't it? Do we believe in something else? Do we believe that no matter what happens, we are connected to some other force other than what we can rationalize or see or touch? I think that question is most pertinent for us at this time in history, when the world seems to be so traumatized and fewer people are gathering in any particular congregation on a Sunday morning or a Saturday evening to gain the strength needed to deal with these traumatic events happening every day around our world. There was an intriguing article in the Atlantic magazine a few weeks ago entitled, "The True Cost of the Church Going Bust." It wasn't just the Catholic Church, it was any institutional church. It was written by an agnostic who really had no use for the church, but he writes that he's changed his mind. He now believes that the community of the church has always been a safe container, holding back the destabilizing pressures of life. He writes that the community of church has been a scaffolding, holding up and fostering values. And he's saddened that 1/4 of Americans identify as atheists or agnostics or religiously unaffiliated. Well, here we are gathering at Pentecost Sunday. And as a parish, tomorrow morning at the 9:45, I will confirm one of our adult parishioners who has not been confirmed, and I will welcome a number of our youngest children to join us at the Eucharistic table for the first time. So do we believe? Do we believe that the Spirit and the Eucharist are the something else, the safe container, the scaffolding that gives us strength not to be overwhelmed by all the trauma that is existing in today's world? Do we believe that the God's Spirit is available to us and that we meet our God in the most special but the simplest of ways in that bread and wine? You know, it's a reality that we've become a post-Christian world where many people see themselves as the center of the universe, failing to be humble enough to believe that the God who created us and his Son that he sent to live with us still lives with us and is present with us in the Spirit and in the staples of life, bread and wine. The writer of that article tells us that the cost of the church going bust is enormous, that it results in the loss of community. He wrote, "Clearly more Americans are spending Sunday mornings on their couches, and it's affected the quality of our collective life. And because of this, there's a dramatic increase in anxiety and depression, because so many people now are isolating themselves, not feeling the need to care about one another, not feeling the need to be cared about in a community session. So as we gather this weekend, at Pentecost, we celebrate the Spirit of God does continue to be present to us. Many fail to use the Spirit as a guide. The living God is present to us in the bread that nourishes us, the wine that quenches us. Many walk away from it. The song shouts that there is something else. Do we believe that there is something else other than the material world, other than what we can rationalize? That the Spirit is alive in the world. The bread and wine on that table is filled with the energy and the presence of God. Tomorrow I will confirm Helena Dwoznik. Tomorrow I will welcome some of our youngest members to the Eucharistic table to be part of this collective community of faith. We will invite them in the future to meet the fullness of God in His Spirit. As I reflect on this world, and I think you might agree with me, that these young people who will receive Eucharist for the first time tomorrow need desperately a safe container. They need a scaffolding to deal with the traumas in our world. So how about us? Will we, then, as the adults, be a model for them by the way we believe that there is something else, that we are called to face these traumas together in a community of believers supporting one another to persevere and to not give up? Will we share with them how the Spirit of God is alive in our lives and how we are nourished by the bread and quenched by the wine that's filled with God? So on Pentecost, the Spirit is alive. God is present at that altar. Do we believe it? And do we use it in our everyday life so that none of us give up? And we're great models for these young kids who are living in a rather desperate world these days. Do we believe?